Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Boogered Up podcast. I am in Fairy Tale's chair. There's a lot that has changed for this episode because, well, let's be honest. One's in the ER. The other one was working a shit ton. But more importantly, we got a very special guest with us. This gentleman came all the way from the land, and he is here to have the best time. Mr. John Brown is in the fucking studio. Ladies and gentlemen, John Brown is in the studio. And not to cut you short from your celebration and everything, it's Cody Ray's birthday. Round of applause for Cody Ray's birthday.
Oh, fuck me.
And you don't know, they don't know when we're recording this, so you can hide, because I know you don't like it when people know your birthday. But currently, right now, today, these three people, or two people, including yourself, know your birthday. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
How old are you?
I am 12.
12?
No, I'm 30. I just turned 30.
You just turned 30.
Shit.
Do you have any wisdom for him? Because we just found out that you are not the age that you look.
Yeah, dude. Do whatever you want to do with life right now because you have about 10 years and then it starts to go downhill from there, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet, but I'm getting close. Like, you can feel it coming.
Knocking on the door?
Yeah, you can for sure. Like, I feel like I'm trending up in certain ways, but my body definitely trending down. It's definitely harder to lose weight now than ever. Like, it's
I would imagine.
it's messed up.
I've never been able to gain weight in my entire life, and I'm 27 now, and I used to saw me mow a 3/4 pound burger.
yeah.
And I used to do that all the time, and now I'm like slowly gaining the beer weight, but not the food weight. So I'm like, oh, there is a price to pay somewhere in this life.
Oh, yeah.
And it's definitely from that. And so now I'm just a skinny fat where I have a keg of a gut, but I'm skinny everywhere else. But if I stand sideways, I look like 3 months pregnant, 4 months, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I've been eating fast food in 3 years, and I look like this. So
No shit. 3 years?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Well, not all fast food. I'm talking like your main fast food. Like, I still eat Chipotle,
Okay.
but that's like healthier.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Depends on what you do, but
Yeah.
you get nasty.
But it's
with it.
real food, at least.
Yeah.
You know,
Instead
like
of-
it's.
Like, what's the worst fast food place the worst fast food place to eat?
I think Burger King.
That's fucked, because Burger King got better.
Dude, I don't know. I think Burger King's burgers are trash. I don't know what the flame grill thing is. That, like, I think those are fake grill marks. I don't know. Like, it's.
They were already put on before they're like frozen like that.
For sure, they have to be.
Oh, dude, it's like the branding thing that they have now, where it's not like the burn from the hot, it's the burn from the cold. Have you guys seen that?
No.
So they brand animals now with a cold iron instead of a hot iron, and it doesn't hurt the animal. But it brands them in the same exact way. It's kind of cool. So, like, I don't think they go through pain, but that's what they do with the burgers. So it's just like a cold burn, so everything just looks like it's already been charred and grilled.
Yeah. Cause I think they're doing, like, because there's no, like, they're dry. So I think they're, like, doing smash burgers, but on a grill. So it's just, like, all the juice is just
That's
going down.
insane to think about.
You
Without
know,
it splitting in half. That's insane.
Yeah. So all the juice just runs out of it everywhere. That's why their burgers suck so bad.
I like it, dude. It's kind of like
They're really dry too.
Yeah.
the only thing I don't like about them is that I spent $10 the last time I went to Burger King like a week ago. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get some onion rings. And the onion rings were like barely cooked, and the burger was just a regular size double cheeseburger, and I paid $9.50 for it. And I was like, this is fucked. This is not what I wanted to live in. This is the world I
Yeah.
like. I paid $11 for a 3/4 pound burger from Wendy's, and you're gonna give me this bullshit double cheeseburger for fucking $6.50? The hell
Right.
are we doing here? With the
Yeah,
sesame
that's the
seed
other
bun?
thing is fast food was eaten because it was cheap, and it's not cheap anymore. Like,
Yeah,
it's
Or fast.
Yeah, dude.
That's
or
true.
fast.
The service has gotten awfully slow, and that's why I started cooking at home. I've been making meals like a motherfucker now.
Yeah, I'm such a boring eater now. I do like grilled chicken or tuna fillets, and that's like literally every day.
Can't even go the egg route anymore.
Yeah, it sucks. It's I don't know. I think there's no good fast food. There's good tasting, but like
Yeah.
I think the best fast food is no one that's not local will know what it is, but Mr. Hero, and it's probably the worst for you. But it's like
That sounds really familiar.
it's the best tasting.
I think they used to have one in Tiffin.
Oh, do you guys not have Mr. Hero out here?
No,
No, never mind, they
something
didn't.
sounds really familiar. I just don't know. It might have just been like the couple times in Cleveland, maybe.
Okay,
I don't know.
probably. Yeah, their big thing is they have great like cheesesteak sandwiches, but they have a burger called a Roman burger that's like 2 burgers on a sub sandwich that's like got like salami and ham on top of
What
it.
the
Like,
fuck?
Yeah,
it's
we
pretty
definitely don't
fire.
have one of those, but
Yeah.
it does sound.
But it's
it
so
sounds
bad
good.
for you. Like
It's so bad.
yeah,
for you.
yeah.
So
I worked there in high school, and it was like me and 3 of my best friends that worked
That's
there together. And it was these 2 Indian ladies who lived in Cleveland. We worked at the one in Cuyahoga Falls, and they would leave at like 5 o'clock every day, and we knew they weren't coming back
Yeah.
because they lived in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So they just left like anywhere from 3 to 5 high school kids at a time to like take care of their restaurant for the
Fuck
night.
yeah.
Dude, it was
Fuck
so
yeah.
bad. We would just close down early and have like smoke parties in the dining room and shit sometimes.
Jesus
It was
Christ.
crazy.
damn, that sounds awesome.
I walked into work one day and there was one of my buddies that worked there was just like wearing a gas mask in the dining room of the Mr. Hero, and I was like, "What the fuck?" is
Sounds like
happening?
a Silent Bob movie.
Dude, it was insane. We had a paintball store next door to the Mr. Hero, and we all played paintball. So we would just like trade them like sandwiches for CO2 and shit. Like it was it was the
That's
shit.
a deal. That's a deal.
Yeah.
That
That's a
is.
hell of a deal.
Yeah.
Do you ever have a paintball war inside?
I
You
mean,
gotta
I've
shoot one shot in there.
no, not inside the Mr. Hero. No.
Ah.
No.
You gotta do the deal and not expect it. It's a crack right in the back of the knee. You used to do that a lot.
Yeah, I had a buddy that had his grandparents had a cabin out on Lake Berlin, and they had a pontoon boat, and there was this like island that we would go to with like probably 10 guys go over there with our paintball guns, and they had like a shack on the island, so we would play like Take the Shack or whatever. It was sick. It was
That sounds like a fucking sweet childhood. And,
Yeah.
like growth. Yeah. That's,
yeah.
I had airsoft a little bit, but I did paintball one time, and it just so happened to be right as the season was getting colder, so they got to the harder balls, and so they just got to inform us that like the normal balls in summer is not as hard as the winter balls because the winter balls are some shit like apparently the texture is harder. or
Yeah,
something.
you got to get like the zero freeze balls. and
Yeah,
they
didn't
are-
fucking. They're like, oh, we just switched over, and they're like, if you guys don't know, those balls are a little harder. They hit a little
Yeah.
harder. Apologies. And I'm like, oh, cool, whatever. Dude, that motherfucker. Dude,
Dude,
that
it feels like a fucking marble.
bro. Oh my god. I like. It was like, all right, we're gonna do 10 rounds, like first 1 to 5, whatever, some shit. Like, cool, awesome. I got shot in like the second round. I was so fucking scared for the remainder of that because I was like, dude, that was hell.
Yeah.
And there's like ex-Marines on the other side. I'm like, I'm just a kid. This is gonna fucking suck.
Yeah, we had this dude that I think his dad was like a career Army guy or something, and he would bring shit to paintball that like he wasn't supposed to have. Like he one time in the shack had like a hole in the floor, so you could like pop up through the floor if you were like ballsy enough.
Uh-huh.
And he had a fucking real smoke grenade. Dude, and he got underneath the shack and pulled the pin and just threw, or whatever you do with a smoke grenade, and just threw it inside of the shack, and everybody just runs out coughing and shit, and it's like, what are you doing?
So
dude?
scared.
Yeah.
So scared.
So
Something's
serious.
gonna explode,
Yep,
dude.
he was
Yeah.
not losing, and if he did, he didn't want to ride home with him probably.
Dude, I mean,
Did he light you up after the smoke? Or did, like,
I was on his team. I don't remember what happened. I think when they ran out, we just lit them all up. Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you get mad? I mean, backtrack. This guy that's the dad, that's the Army dude. Is that the dude that like gives the permission to the island or something? Or is he just like the cat?
No, we didn't even know his dad. I think his dad just like had a bunch of shit laying around the house, and he would like take his dad's shit and use it for paintball.
Oh,
Like,
that's
yeah.
fucking funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I
He
thought
would
his
put, like, a-
dad casually pulled up and did that.
No.
This cocksucker
Fucking-
just stole his dad's more memorabilia from his Army days and was like, you know what? This is gonna be really good to fuck up these guys. Wait till I pull out the grenade.
Yeah, dude, it was insane. And that place particularly, like the fact that it was like the woods, like on an island.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it
awesome.
felt like you were in like war. Like you'd be like running, jumping over like logs and shit, and have
Yeah.
paintballs whizzing by your head and shit. Like it was insane. I missed that. And then I had another typical Cuyahoga Falls thing. buddy of mine that was addicted to oxy stole my paintball gun when I had a party at my house, and then I kind of never played again after that because they're expensive, dude. Like I wasn't gonna buy another one, but yeah.
I don't even know how they run, like price wise. I'd imagine they got to be something fancy. But then like
I don't know. I've literally never even gone.
They get the cartridge, the fucking CO, whatever the pressure shit on the bottom, right?
Yeah, you have like a CO2 tank.
Yeah.
I had the typical one that comes with it. I think is like 16 ounces. I had like the 34 ounce one, or whatever, so it lasted longer, or whatever. And then you'd always have an extra one in your bag. But like this kid, I had a party at my house, and this kid had a backpack on, and I took him home to his mom's house, like 30 minutes away. No idea my paintball gun and shit was in his backpack the whole time.
He gave you the third. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What
dude.
a slap in the fucking face.
Yeah. Never talked to that dude again.
30-minute drive after party.
Yeah.
Fucked up, dude. You made me leave the party to give you a ride.
No, it was in the morning. It was the next day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like mid-party, like, hey, man, I got to go home. You're like, I guess I'm fucking driving home right now. That's awesome.
Yeah, just so he could sell it for more oxys, probably. That was...
Hope we got shot with.
What if he was really addicted to paintballing?
The
The oxy was just a
actual
cover
addiction.
Yeah.
Every
He's
day.
selling oxys to buy paintballs.
Yeah, every day he's at the course, dude. Just let me in. I swear I'll pay you back tomorrow. I'll buy balls.
We've talked about going paintball gunning with the crew here for the longest time because it's such a fun thing to do, but it also sucks so bad.
It's so much fun though. The last time I did go after that. I went with my brother's bachelor party. We started out the day paintballing, and it was the shit. It was just like some course that we went to.
Dude, is there one local? Do you know?
There's definitely some. Like anywhere where there's like a lot of land, like somebody's coming up with a paintball place that you can go to.
The one that I went to growing up was kind of close, and they had two different courses. The one course was, so they had one that was just like the field, and then the other one was like a western stare down.
Okay.
And it was just two massive long lines of buildings with open hole windows and shit, and you're just peeking there trying to shoot. I'm sitting
That's
there
kind of cool though.
I'm sitting there blind shooting out of a hole, praying I crack somebody. I'm not sure if it's gonna hit or not. Like the fucking dude in the last Squid Game season. I don't know if you've seen that reference.
I have not seen the last one. No, I saw the first one. I didn't see the new season yet.
Fucking dude was lying the whole time, and he said he was a Marine, and he's sitting there with like the gun behind him, just shooting, scared for his life. Yeah, the reference would have hit, but it's cool. It's fine. Fucking, what are you doing over there?
Looking up paintball places.
I was about to say.
4 miles away, bro. Let's go right now.
Yeah, dude. I knew there had to have been
so
one.
sorry, what?
I knew there had to have been one close.
4 miles from here?
There's one in Sandusky. Or Great Lakes paintball field.
Yeah, you want to go to one of the fields. You don't want to go. The indoor ones suck.
They open at 10 a.m. Saturday.
Brother.
We could pick it out a Sunday or something.
I'm not going to lie. That's a fucking plan. I want to get nasty with it for sure. I've only done it one time. It hurt.
They're only open Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, dude. The paintball is a good boys' day.
Fuck yeah, dude. The camaraderie's got to be sick after you go to war for fucking 3 hours and everybody's sore.
We might have to wait till it warms up.
Yeah, that would be smart. Yeah.
I don't want those paintballs back. We got to get the.
When do they bust those out? We'll have to find out.
And here was the thing too: is the cheating in paintball is fun because if you hit you and it hurts but it doesn't open, you're not fucking painted on, so you can keep going. But those balls that are harder will fucking not break on you.
Oh, yeah.
So
you're going to have bruises all
5
over
times. You're still fighting. So you're like, okay, no paint, but fuck. And then after a while, you're like, okay, break one, please. Cut it a little bit before you fucking shoot it or something, dude.
Yeah. Eventually, you learn to wear some layers. But
the one time.
yeah, the first couple times I did it, I didn't, and I just had bruises all over my body, dude. It was so bad.
Oh, I'd probably get a full gear, get one of the motorcycle jackets that cover you all the way around your ribs, get your shoulders.
Dude, the one thing of gear that I will say is 100% necessary is gloves, because you do not. I got shot on the trigger finger once. That was the most painful shot I've ever taken because it just rips the skin off.
And getting hit in the hand is a pain that makes you mad too. I hate getting hit in the hands or something. Or
I cracked
cut
my,
or something. You smash your finger.
This one.
I'd throw my gun at
This one,
him.
I think. I cracked my fucking nail in a door and it snapped. in half, and it was the worst pain I've ever experienced in my entire fucking life. And if anytime I have any sort of finger pain, like my whole day is over. It's the worst shit in the world. If that happened to me, I would have threw the gun down and just quit. I would have went home. Fuck that.
Yeah, I'm very competitive, so like shit like that like gets me going. Like I love. We went to. Have you ever played whirly ball?
What's that?
So you're in like a bumper car, and you have these little lacrosse looking paddles, and it's like basically like a wiffle ball, and there's like what looks like basketball goals. But they just have like a square cut out of them. And if you hit the backboard, it's like a point. But if you get it in the hole, it's 3.
Bro, this is like so.
It's so sick,
fucked
dude.
up American Harry Potter game.
Yeah, we did it for Bob McClure's bachelor party. It was the
That's
shit.
so tight.
Where do you do all this in Cleveland?
There's a whirly ball place in Twinsburg.
Whirly
Yeah.
ball is
I don't know
such
what
a
that
wild
is.
name.
Is
too.
that by Cleveland?
I love the
kind
name
of.
Whirly ball.
Right next to Macedonia, Hudson. You know, Hudson or Macedonia. It's like in between.
I'm not a
Cleveland-
navigator at
In
all.
between Cleveland and Akron.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
Oh, like
Yeah.
other side.
Yeah.
You tell us the big spots, and we might get it then. As soon as you tell us a small town, we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, up.
Yeah.
They're lying. Talked about it prior to the pod, and I wanted to bring this up because Matt Roca is not able to be here, and he would get what I'm about to say. But John Cena turned heel, and I wanted to talk to you about it because you said you were a wrestling fan growing up.
Yeah.
You've seen the wrestling stuff going on right now with
Yes.
John Cena and everything. Have you seen the comparisons to Hogan in '96 to this?
I haven't seen anything, but I did hear, comedian Brian Kenny, I heard made that comparison on his podcast.
How?
And I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to say, because we were talking beforehand, and you said you were a massive fan. You're going away is Owen Hart's day, which is the craziest shit. We'll dive
It
into
was nuts.
that. We'll dive into that.
Yeah.
Wild drop before the episode was mind-blowing. So watching that as a wrestling fan back then, where did that take you as a fan? Like, because...
I mean, I was old enough to where, like, I loved it. You know what I mean? It was like the whole, like, I don't know. I loved the whole NWO Wolfpack, like that whole thing. I loved it. It was, that was my favorite era of wrestling. Like, even when I was a little kid, like, wrestling was great. And I love Sting was always my favorite wrestler. But, like, the NWO Wolfpack Sting was, like, the best.
The red face paint was
Yeah,
the hardest
dude. It was so sick. And then they had that little Mexican dude that rapped. I don't remember his name, but that was yeah. They had a
I don't know who the fuck that is off the top of my
they
head.
had a Mexican guy in the Wolfpack that was like a rapper.
Well, Matt would.
Yeah, there was a rapper before John Cena. Believe it or not.
Believe it or not,
dude. You know what's
Tech
funny?
guy. There we go.
My nieces are like they're like 19 and 15. And they did not believe me when I told them that when John Cena first got into wrestling, he was a rapper. They're like, what? And I showed them the videos, and they just could not stop laughing. I'm like,
me and the wife just watched somebody on YouTube. I can't remember the YouTube page, but it's like have you ever heard of the Dark Side of the Ring documentaries? Yeah. It's kind of like that, but it's the dark side of person. So there's a dark side of John Cena. Watch that. Didn't know a lot of that, which fucking blew me away. But like the rapping stuff, all that I knew, but I didn't know like all the. There's some shit John Cena's done in his time. He used to be a fucking alcoholic.
It's Ricky Stenicki, bro.
What'd you say?
It's Ricky Stenicki.
Fucking hilarious.
Great
that
movie.
Ricky
so
Stenicki
funny.
in real life, bro. That's why he was so good in that movie.
That's fucked up that makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. That's really fucked because he was a homeless dude that finally got shine and then just literally was like he would go into matches just reeking of alcohol and from drinking like on a 9-day bender, but nobody would know it from his performance, and he like held staple to that. And then,
that's awesome.
And then after would just get fucking even more fucked up because he was finally wrestled. He checkmarked that so now he could go drink another X amount of days. But he did some wild shit to a wrestler and like drug him out of the place. I had no idea. Then like everybody's like, the reason why this guy's career is over is because of this guy, and I'm like, I'm really excited for WrestleMania right now. I'm gonna pretend like I didn't hear all of this documentary. We'll dabble back onto that one.
Yeah.
But was the Hogan thing predictable as a fan back then at all? Did you ever see that coming?
I mean, as a kid, no. You know, like it was like. I wasn't a fan of Hogan then, so that kind of made me a fan of Hogan.
Fuck yeah.
When he
okay.
turned when he turned heel, like it was. Yeah, I was never a Hogan fan. It was always for me. It was always Sting and Macho Man. But yeah, I loved it when it happened. It made me like him.
Yeah.
And then now it's kind of weird saying that I liked Hulk Hogan, but back then,
Yeah, dude, you're a real American beer fan.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. I love the people that are older in the wrestling world that they're like, yo, man, Hulk Hogan was the best. And they're like, is he the best anymore? He's like, oh, yeah, let me tell you something. Like, real American beer and Trump 2024 8 and 32 for that guy, because that fucking dude will die for that man.
Dude, his movies, I remember his movies were the shit when I was a kid.
Hogan's movies?
Yeah, he would do like dumb action movies, and they were the shit.
The cameos were the best. It's like you just see a skinny Hulk just pop up with like a perfect mustache, and you're like, the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
Kind of like John Cena's dude, we might be Hogan and Cena might be the same person in the future, because Cena's doing the same shit. He did a cameo for fucking Barbie. I don't know if you guys watched Barbie.
I did. I don't remember that.
He popped up in the water.
He was a
He was a mermaid.
Yeah,
And you're
okay.
like, it's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I laughed. I popped so fucking hard as soon as he jumped up. I was like, what the fuck is he doing?
He's been in a lot of movies, I think.
He's done a lot in acting. He's fucking his first movies. I don't know if you guys remember these. He portrayed like a fucking Marine dude. The first movies that he did.
Oh yeah.
It was like 3 or 4 movies of the same thing. I thought we were about to get fucking the fucking bald dude, the action guy, Bruce. Is that his name? Fucking
Bruce Willis.
yeah. I thought we were
Yeah.
gonna get Bruce Willis 2.0, where it's just the same guy in every single movie. He was just an action dude, but he's a Marine.
Yeah. His fucking is it the HBO show, the superhero show?
Yeah.
That show is phenomenal.
The Boys?
Dude. No,
Oh.
no. It's one where he's the main character, John Cena.
Oh,
It's
does he have the helmet?
yeah, I can't remember the name of it right now, but yeah, he's the main character in it.
Got the red suit and shit.
It
okay.
is hilarious, dude.
I've never seen that,
It
actually.
is so good. I was shocked because I didn't think like. Usually when John Cena's in something like you said, it's like a corny action movie,
Yeah.
or something like
Something
yeah.
way too
Peacemaker?
Peacemaker, that's it. Yeah,
Peacemaker.
it's so good, dude. I can't remember. I think it's on HBO, but it is.
Yeah,
It is
HBO, YouTube, Hulu, Amazon.
I'll have to watch
Yeah,
that.
it's
If it's
phenomenal.
that good, I'll have to watch
It's
it.
so good.
Is it the same character as Ricky Stenicki, but a superhero, please? Please,
kind
please.
of.
Because he blew me away I did not think he would be that good in the Ricky Stenicki movie, and I was actually shocked.
Yeah, that movie was great. I love Andrew Santino too. He's the shit.
He's hilarious.
There's a
Yeah.
fucking interview where the whole cast was asked like their dirty, like what the fuck was it? It was a guilty pleasure movie. What's your guilty pleasure go to or whatever? And all like Zac Efron and the rest of the cast was just answering in like an odd way of just like, oh yeah, like Lilo and Stitch. And John Cena, just as bold as he could have answered it, just said some like 1970s hardcore porno. And like you would not know unless you Googled it, unless you actually know the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Just look it up. Just look it up." I was it's so fucking good. I love the character that he's built on that.
Yeah.
What would be your guys' guilty pleasure go-to movie or go-to video? It's a fucking weird question to ask on the spot, but
I hate to say it, but I love the movie Fever Pitch.
yeah.
Dude, I don't
Yeah?
know. Yeah. I don't know why. It was just because there was a brief period of time where I was so pissed off at but then the Indians when they let Manny Ramirez go
Okay.
that I was like rooting for Manny Ramirez for like 2 years. So when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004, I was like pumped on that.
Fuck yeah.
And so
I love
like
that, dude.
yeah, dude, because I loved Manny. And then it was like and then that movie came out and it became my favorite movie. And then I realized later like how bad it was. But like at the time it was my favorite movie.
Don't you hate that too? When
Yeah.
you go back and you're like, because that's how I was with Beer Fest. Where like I thought Beer Fest was the coolest movie I've ever watched growing up, and then I watched it like 2 years ago, and I was like, this might be one of the worst movies I've ever watched. Like the
The
only thing that was good about that was Eye of the Jew. Where they're at the fucking bar, and the guy just looks and he's just got the fucking symbol in his eye. And he's like, "Oh my fucking god!" And then he put him at anchor. It's the only thing that was really that good about that movie.
Yeah.
Do you have a guilty pleasure, birthday boy?
I don't know about guilty pleasure. I watch a lot of movies, but like, I don't know. One of my favorite movies is probably Friday. Not only because it's funny,
It's not
but
guilty
That's
pleasure.
not
It's
even-
one of the
I don't-
greatest comedies of
I
all
don't
time.
know.
Not even guilty. Honestly, you should honor that. You should wear that as a badge.
I'm trying to think of something that's guilty that I would watch. Like I don't know. I watch all kinds of shit. I don't really watch the same movie over and over. Unless
Yeah.
it's funny. Unless it's funny. Like
There's nothing
Friday.
that you think that you know is a bad movie, but you still like it.
Yeah,
I have plenty of those.
dude.
It's-
Beer Fest would honestly be a really high contender for me because of how, like, if you know the movie, it's not a good movie. It's
yeah.
do you?
Yeah, I know Beer
Well,
Fest.
I was
It's
silent.
been
when,
it's been a long time, but
it was silent in the room when I said that. And I'm like, fuck, am I like just a bad critic? Like, is this a decent movie? I was like, fuck, am I burning this
No.
one down?
no,
that
I
movie-
loved all those movies.
I'm terrible at these on the spot questions.
Well, this is why we have a podcast. We can just talk about it, and we can sit for extensive, long periods of time of silence, and you can find your answer. Like
That
real
helps.
time.
That helps when we do
It
that.
helps when we're all staring at you
Yeah.
waiting.
It makes me think faster.
Yeah, Beer Fest would probably be definitely my number one, because it really pissed me off at how bad it was, and also like Hell House. The guilty pleasure is like I think Hell House is one of the best horror movies, and it's not that good, but it's so fucking good. Kind of like
yeah.
like how much people built up like Terrifier, and like Terrifier then slowly became like actually a really fucking unique movie. Hell House is it's a pretty bad rip off of like Paranormal Activity,
Okay.
where like it's all found footage kind of shit, but it's like some of it you can see a mile away, and then some of it you're just like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's a strange one.
Dude,
You'll have
that
to watch
movie
it.
was terrifying when it first the Paranormal Activity, the first one,
Mhm.
when it came out, because the way they advertised it as if it was
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
And then you go to the theater. We went opening night to the theater to go see it, and when the movie starts, it pops up and says all footage is courtesy of the San Diego Police Department.
Yep.
Like, looks super official, and
Mhm.
like, so that's the only reason why that movie was scary.
Yeah.
So like, I was very confused when they made like 8 more. It's like, it's like the game's up. I don't.
Like, how many rituals are we finding it is, and how much like found tape are you gonna come across before this actually becomes public knowledge? And like, hey, all of this death you never heard about, and all of this shit that happened, the abducted kid. Yeah, here's the video. Have fun, enjoy it.
Yeah.
I watched. I think it was 3. It was Paranormal Activity 3. I saw in theaters on opening night, packed out crowd, and at the very end of it, when they turned and the woman was in the yard. There was a guy. His name was Big D. He's like 400-pound, fucking 6'5" black dude. It was all like offensive lineman. Fucking, I saw this dude from the front of the theater jump up, scream. We're all screaming, but I saw him, the only one to get up, and he just starts charging up running away from it because it was so fucking scary in that theater. It was the funniest thing that's ever happened in a theater to me.
I love that shit when you have to like something happens in the theater where you have to go back and watch the movie again.
Yeah,
Like we went to opening night of Superbad, and
Great.
yeah, and we ate pot brownies and shit. This was at like when the Lowe's Theater in the south side of Pittsburgh first opened, which was like the first theater I had ever been to where you could like order drinks and shit,
that's sick.
and it was sold out opening night, and that place was so loud with laughter, I probably missed half the movie. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, you couldn't hear most of the movie because everybody's laughing
You were
so hard.
zooted off your ass, so everything
Yeah.
is just echoing. And like,
Yeah.
am I watching a movie right now?
Yeah, I think that and This Is the End is probably the hardest I've heard people laugh in a movie theater.
This Is the End is that massive group of people, right? With the ending of the Earth, the world
Yeah.
and shit.
Yeah.
I never saw that in theaters. That's an old one.
That's like my favorite movie.
No shit.
Yeah, I love that fucking movie.
The
I
amount
haven't
of
seen
different-
that in a long
It's
time.
so funny.
The amount of different cameos and ways that it takes is so good. Like,
Yeah.
who was the coke addict? Who was the coke addict in that? I don't remember who it was.
Danny McBride was pretty.
No, not that dude.
It was the dude. Yeah, it was the skinny dude. Fuck.
He plays
think
in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yes.
Oh.
He was a coke the whole time. He was doing spots in there. He was just doing coke.
Michael Cera.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
The whole
yeah.
time he just. That's
I
all
was
I
trying
remember.
to think for a
One of the
minute.
only things I remember from
He
the
slaps
movie.
Rihanna's ass.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
dude. It's
There's so many
good.
people in this.
It's one of my favorite scenes in any movie is whenever he comes up to Jonah Hill and he's like, have you ever done coke before? And he's like, no, and he has like a handful of coke and he's like, now you have. Walks away. it's so fucking funny, dude.
Dude, when did that come out? 2011?
Maybe
10?
later than it was 2012.
2013.
2013, that's right. Because it was the last time I went to Texas. I know that. That was like June of 2013.
Last time you went to Texas. Are you from Cleveland? Or did you...
I was born in Texas. My entire family on both sides is from the Akron area.
Oh, shit.
So, like, we lived in Texas until I was 13 and then moved back to Ohio.
We'll take a couple steps back here. You said, so you're both sides, mom and dad,
Yeah.
entire family from Akron.
Yeah.
Born. So did they come from Ohio down there?
Yeah. So my
Dude,
dad.
do you imagine how crazy that would have been if they just met in Texas and they're like, I think I want to move home. Me too. Where are you from? Akron. What?
Yeah, no. My two older brothers were both born in Ohio.
Oh.
My dad, a bunch of factories closed up in the 80s. Dad lost his job. My mom's twin sister had moved down to like an hour north of Dallas
Okay.
with her husband, and her husband was like, told my dad I can get you a job. So they moved
Put that
down
up
there.
a little closer just to make sure.
So they moved down there, and then I was born. And then 13 years later, they finally were able to move back.
So you stayed from 0 to 13 down there, come up to Ohio?
Yeah. And it was the best childhood, like living in a small town in Texas.
Yeah.
Growing up, except for the fact that we came here every year for vacation. So,
That'd be terrible.
Yeah, dude. So like, I didn't see the ocean until I was like 14. You know, like nothing. My vacation every year was going to an Indians game and going to the Football Hall of Fame. Like that was it.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. You were so tired of Ohio. And he's like, all right, we're moving back. And you're like, wait a fucking minute, dude.
Yeah.
Our vacation spot's now the home?
I was the only kid in school wearing Browns shit and Cavs
out.
shit and everything. Like everybody else was Texas everything. I bought this hat because it's the only like Texas hat I could find that didn't have any of the team names on it because I was never a fan of any Texas sport teams. But
That's actually that's funny because I was a Rangers fan. I was an Indians and Rangers fan growing up.
I went to a lot of Rangers games whenever I was a kid.
Fuck yeah.
That place was awesome, dude. They had that ballpark where they had
It's beautiful.
the grass in the middle where when the home run hit, it's just like a wrestling match with all the kids because you just like try to go get the
Yeah,
ball.
yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The place is unbelievable. That was my favorite. I followed Bryce Harper growing up.
Yeah.
And when he was in high school and shit, I wanted to be just like him. And then fucking he ended up getting signed and everything on that way. So I was a fucking massive fan.
Yeah. I don't know why they got rid of that stadium so quickly because it was built in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then they've already got a new one. I don't know. It's not like the 90s is that long ago for a baseball stadium.
Dude,
It's,
people be making money. But I was talking about it. I remember, I'm sure you'll remember the fucking Oakland Raiders, how
Yeah.
they had a baseball field in their football field.
yeah, so did San Fran.
Oh, no, I had no
49ers.
idea.
Miami Dolphins had it for a while. Yeah, there's a lot of. It was common back in the day.
No shit. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just young and
I
dumb.
can't remember if the Bengals ever had it or one of the AFC North teams had it.
Let me find out that my team had a fucking baseball field
It was.
in there.
It might have been Pittsburgh. One of the AFC North teams.
Seems like a Pittsburgh thing to do.
Oh no, it was the fucking. I'm stupid. It was the Browns. The
Hilarious.
Municipal Stadium was the Browns and Indians.
That's hilarious. You
Yeah.
go, wait, no, it was actually us.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't here then, so that's my excuse. But yeah, it was, it was municipal.
So you moved up to Ohio and stayed in Ohio from 13 on. Didn't go anywhere else?
No, not really. I mean, I lived in Pittsburgh for like 6 months right after I graduated high school. But
Why?
my brother's wife is from there, so he was living there with her and her brother. And I didn't know what I wanted to do for college, so he was like, "Come move out here for a little bit and figure it out." So.
You walk around in Browns.
Oh
clothes
yeah,
out
we had a
there.
Browns flag on our front porch.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
And
That's impressive.
I went to Community College of Allegheny County for 1 semester.
Shout out. Education.
And then my brother's wife got pregnant, and I was like, I'm not living with a pregnant woman that I didn't get pregnant, so I moved back to Ohio. You know, like,
That's fair.
The maths for me on that one.
Not a bad rule.
yeah,
to
now
live
my
by.
niece is 19-year-old college sophomore. It's weird. It's weird as fuck.
Life.
Yeah,
God
dude.
bless. That's a fast jump. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude.
Dude, I saw my niece last summer, I think it was. I went to, there's a local spot, it's a hot dog spot. Pulled up. I only get it like once or twice because the product's gone down over the years. And my niece, I had no idea at the time, was walking up to take my order. And I was like, this is the moment. This is the moment that I'm the oldest that I've ever been.
Yeah.
It was like, my niece is about to take my order right now. And I was like, this is fucked.
Yeah.
Like, my back started hurting immediately. And I was like, I'm way too young to try and feel this old right now.
Yeah. It's crazy how fast that shit happens. But yeah, I want to go back to Texas soon. I haven't been back in like 10 years. So
What do you miss about it?
the people, like my friends
Yeah.
from whenever I was growing up, like I still talk to all of them and shit.
Did you ever get to do the fucking, or know anybody that did like the chopper shooting shit that they do in Texas?
No, that's more like East Texas. So you're like more towards New Orleans, kind of. Like that's, yeah, we didn't have any real like swampland by us or anything. It was more dry plains.
New Orleans?
Yeah. Like Louisiana.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was like, New Orleans is in Texas?
No, Louisiana is close
I was-
to Texas.
Dude, I was
No,
like,
like
we're
I'm
doing
saying,
this moment
it's
again?
more of that. No,
I don't know my fucking
No.
maps at all. He just hit me
No,
with
but
that. New Orleans, Texas.
no, but like the east side of Texas is more like that area of the country of like Louisiana and shit, where it's
Okay.
like, yeah. But no, I lived in North Texas. We were like right on the Oklahoma border, about an hour north of Dallas. Yeah,
That's a fucking big ass state.
yeah, dude.
It's way too big.
Oklahoma is the worst state to drive through in the entire country. Like it is the most boring. Like imagine driving
Oh, boy, okay.
like the Ohio to Indiana route,
Mhm.
but like there's no highway exits, so it's just like
It's just a tube?
yeah, it's
Just
so
a
it's just
road
like
tube?
70 and then all of a sudden it'll be like 60, 50, 45, 35 traffic light. And then that's just the whole way through the state. Like it's
Dude, that
it
sounds-
sucks.
That sounds like a
Sucks.
fucked up nightmare you have when you're under the influence.
Yeah,
you go to
dude.
bed and you have those vivid dreams where you're having the worst dream of your life.
It's so bad. Upper Peninsula, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to like Wisconsin is kind of like that too, where it's like they don't have highway exits. It just gradually slows down. Traffic light gradually speeds back
This
up.
is awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. We were just up there like 3 or 4 weeks ago doing a gig, and it was a terrible drive.
What's the farthest you've traveled comedy-wise?
Minneapolis, I think, which was probably my favorite city
No
to
shit?
do comedy in. Actually, in the summertime, might be my favorite city I've ever been to. Like it
It's
is,
a bold take,
it is
especially
amazing.
kind of being from the land.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like there. It's very. It's kind of like Cleveland, to where like the outskirt neighborhoods are
Mhm.
very cool, but it's so much more bikeable. Like it's like we had me and the girl that I went with, we had like e-bikes that we rented and rode around the whole like 4 days we were there, and you could just go everywhere. Like there's one time I took it a little too far one time, and it was the day after she left and I was still there. I was going to this like industry panel, and I was like, I'll just take the e-bike there, and I didn't realize that there were like places where you couldn't go. Like,
Okay.
like so I'm like going up this hill, and all of a sudden the bike starts to like get harder to pedal, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I look down, and it's got like a red X blinking on it, and I'm like, oh shit. And I pull out my phone and I look on the map, and there's just like a sea of red, and I'm like right in the middle of it, and I guess
Oh,
like
no.
the red is where you're not supposed to go.
It's so
Oh,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to walk my bike back down this hill and call an Uber. And while I'm waiting on the Uber, like the Uber's picking me up. I see the Lime scooter bike come, or like the truck come and pick up the bike and take it away. I'm like, it's just like in front of some like factory. I'm like standing there by myself, just looking at the guy while he's taking the bike away. It's like, yeah, this wasn't me. I swear.
Like, dude, you should have seen the guy. I swear to God, dude. He just left 5 minutes ago. Isn't that crazy?
Nick used to do that with the scooters. Pick them up, charge them.
Yeah, he did bird scooter.
It's got to be good money because people probably leave them all over the place. I mean,
Depends
I don't
on
know.
how much you want to work it, but at the same time, like it's just a 24/7 job. Like you can have a schedule in itself of it, but like when like the weekends for like he did it in Tiffin, like whenever drunk guys would fucking just beat the shit out of one or whatever, and like casually one goes off the radar, and he's like, I gotta go pick up this other broken fucking bird scooter now.
I'm trying to think. There was either a movie or a TV show that I watched where the dude, it was I think it was Seth Rogen I think it was a TV show with Seth Rogen where he like owned a brewery and like every time he saw a scooter he would like pick it up and toss it.
Yeah, what's that called? Platonic?
Yeah, Platonic. Yeah, that was a decent show.
Fuck yeah, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Just pick it up and chuck that bitch like fucking
For no
Division III's
reason.
football finest.
Yeah, just because he hated him, and I feel it. Like if you live in New York, you hate those things, you know, because they are like.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Every time I've been in New York, I've almost gotten hit by a bicycle or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
just they don't give a fuck. They're just riding on the sidewalks, not giving a fuck. Like,
Dude, I can't do those big city shits. If I went to New York and I almost got hit by a bike, I think I'd sit on the sidewalk and I might look normal over there at that point, but I'm like rocking back and forth like this is overdrive.
I love it, dude. That's like I wasn't counting New York when I said Minneapolis is my favorite city.
Yeah,
It's like New York is my
chapter.
favorite city of all. Like it's my favorite place to be.
You
like
done comedy over there?
Yeah, and I'm thinking about moving there in the next like couple years. But,
Oh shit!
Yeah, but it's my favorite place to be. I don't like Manhattan as much.
Okay.
Manhattan's a little too busy,
Mm-hmm.
but like Brooklyn and Queens are like they're just sick, dude. It's no matter where you live, you can walk out and walk a block and go get a cup of coffee, a bagel, like whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
there's
just
so much to do and in such a small area.
Yeah.
I used to really not want anything to do with New York, but I'm starting to come around. Like I think I actually want to go there and check it out.
Oh, you've never been?
No.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
it's
bye.
sick. Just definitely stay in like good areas of Brooklyn or Queens. Like Brooklyn's pretty much all good areas now, but like I mean like you want to be not in the furthest part of Brooklyn because it sucks when you have to take like a 50-minute train in Manhattan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like
Nah,
so
I
you
bet
want
that
to be.
shit's- I bet that shit's just active. There's just craziness for the most part.
Yeah, I mean it's not like everybody says it is though. That's what you learn when you go to New York. Like it's not like me and Tim Wolf.
Yeah.
Like me and Tim Wolf were like the two. We went with like a big group of comics last time I went, and me and Tim Wolf
I
were
think
like
I saw that on socials. I think I saw.
yeah. There's
a
like
huge
7 of
group.
us. Like
Yeah, you
Dejan
guys-
went with
yeah.
us, Jimmy Killius, Samantha Archol, Nicole Knight. Yeah, it was like a big group of us, and me and Tim were the ones that were like we stayed out late with each other every night. So
Yeah.
we'd be taking the train back at like 3:00 in the morning from Manhattan to Brooklyn or Queens to Brooklyn, and never saw shit that was like seemed scary. You know what I mean? Like
Is that kind of annoying though? Like you're like it's built up to be certain something. 'Cause,
I mean, we saw some funny shit, like for sure.
well,
Like,
like the first time I ever went to Philadelphia, we were walking down and we were meeting my old buddy. We were meeting some girls and we were walking around and we ended up going towards a Chinatown kind of area. And there's a guy walking from the distance and he looks like this. He's like, and I'm like, I don't know if he's crying or whatever the
Yeah.
case was. Mind you, in city of Philly, besides where the venue was, we were going for the music. There was probably on foot walking for maybe 5 minutes. This guy's walking. He's got blood all over his face. He's holding his teeth, and he just
oh,
goes,
man.
"Whatever you do, don't go down that way." And then you hear the ruckus from down that way. It was this. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, where are we at? This is insane.
Yeah.
It's like I'm from a small town. I don't deal with like randomly casualties. I do get somebody gets fucked up on the sidewalk. Half the town's gonna know in an hour.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's just like, yep, I got to go put my teeth back in my face. And I was like, do you need anything? He's like, no, I'm fine. Just carried on. And I'm like, this is not normal.
It's Philly.
This is not a normal
Yikes.
time.
It's the craziest things we saw was one night me and Tim were waiting for the train, and there was this like drunk dude laying on the ground that just got up and just started like trying to jump up and touch the top of the subway. He was doing it for like probably 25 minutes. I'm like, that's some fucking stamina right there, dude. And then the other thing was the last day we were there, we were riding the train back from Times Square, and there's this guy sitting next to there's this old guy sitting next to Samantha, and he's just eating spinach out of a bag, just like just dry
Just
fucking
going at
spinach,
it, dude.
eating out of a bag. And I'm like, I look over, I'm like trying not to laugh, and I like look back the other way, and then like 10 minutes later, I look back at him, and he's got his mouth just like sunk into a lemon, just like sitting there like this, and I'm like, what the fuck is up with this guy? And then of course, I think Jimmy started talking to him probably or something.
Fucking Jimmy, dude.
It's just like, dude, there was a point where like Jimmy likes to do bits all the time, and there's like a point in New York where I was like, you can't do that here, dude.
It's
like,
so good.
like this is not gonna go well.
This dude's building a Caesar salad on the train in his mouth.
Yeah.
And Jimmy wants to talk to him.
Yeah.
The first interaction we had with Jimmy was after it was at the awards, because like we've talked to some of the people in Cleveland, but like we have so much going on, and we fucking walk into me and Nick walk into the bathroom. There's Jimmy sitting there, and he just got done pissing. He's washing his hands. He looks at us. We walk past him, and he goes, "So who's gonna pull their dick out first and show it, huh?" And I was like, "What a fucking icebreaker!" Casually, I was like, "All right, this guy's sick. Fuck yeah, dude."
He's one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah,
dude.
you guys got a podcast together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's so much fun, but it's Bomb Hard Podcast is what it's called.
Funny enough, I was gonna tell you. So, working on doing some stuff in the future and everything, and I was looking. I was like, all right, let me just ask Chat GPT. I was like, give me some names for a podcast, like podcasting and whatnot. That name popped up on.
Are you serious?
I swear to God, because I looked at your page today, and I was like, that's fucking funny. And then I looked at Chat GPT, and one of them was that, and it was like an explanation of like, comedians talk about when they bomb on stage, and this would be a really funny topic to go through. And I was like, this is literally the name of his podcast.
Yeah, and that wasn't even our idea behind. Our idea was, and it's gone. The idea is gone now, but the original idea was that we would do a different concept every episode, and it was either gonna kill or it was gonna bomb. That was it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and we just got in way too far over our head with it and tried to do like we had this one time. It would have been great if we would have just done it right.
Yeah.
But we had Connor Stout, who plays the guitar at the Secret Society shows.
Okay.
He came over one time because he's been to prison, so he came over one time to show us how to make prison pizza. And
Shout out.
and it was great, but the way I just didn't really know what I was doing with filming in the kitchen, you know, and it was just like the camera angles sucked and shit, and it just didn't
He's
work.
got the grandpa view where it's flipped and he doesn't know it. It's just his reaction the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that actually kind of looks really good.
But man, that shit was disgusting.
Oh,
It was like I almost threw up taking one bite. Jimmy said it was okay. And Brandon was like, "This is really good, actually." I'm like, "You're a fucking psycho, dude." Like this.
we know where your home is supposed to be, and it's making those in that spot. Fucker.
Yeah, dude. It's like you taste every ingredient at the same time. You know what I
There's
mean?
no
Like
mix. It's all individual. in
Yeah.
your mouth.
and it doesn't even make sense. Like you shouldn't be able to taste that many tastes.
Can you walk us through this?
It's basically like the dough is like ramen noodles and water that you like basically like you heat up and it forms into like a dough, but not really.
Okay.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And then like you use like Slim Jims for the pepperoni. You use like Doritos for the cheese. Like there's and then just every condiment that you could like fucking it was disgusting. Barbecue, hot sauce, like
Just
like
trying
ketchup,
to get,
like everything.
Oh God, I'm gonna throw up. Everything,
Yeah,
and
dude.
everything had its
Dude.
own flavor in there, just individualized in your mouth.
And then he's I think he was like at one point was like, well, we can make it taste a little better and put some actual cheese on it. So we did that, like cheated a little bit, and it was still fucking so foul,
There was
dude.
no saving that, baby.
No, it was so bad. And then he cooked it. We cooked it. We also cooked it in the oven, which like you're supposed to do it in the microwave because they don't have an oven
Yeah.
there. But yeah, or they might not even do it in the microwave. I can't remember. I think they might not even have a microwave. They might just like heat it up with hot water or some shit.
I'm sure there's a million ways.
Yeah,
to
but
do
it's
They're pretty crafty in
but
there.
any way they do it, it's disgusting.
Either way, it should be banished.
Yeah.
We should probably just get these guys some pizza.
Lesson learned: don't go to prison. Eat regular pizza.
Yeah, dude.
If you want to eat regular pizza, don't go to prison. You'll have the ramen dough.
Yeah, and his shit was like for some weed too, I think. Like it wasn't even like anything crazy.
That's
just,
how mine started.
Yeah. You're just gonna leave that there?
Oh, no, like-
leave that there?
Well, I got in trouble when I started with weed.
The way he looked at you, like, yeah, that was a period at the end of that? That was crazy. We're done?
That's the way mine started. What the fuck?
I'm better at being on that side.
The way your what started?
Well, like I went to jail and shit. It started with weed. It was
Okay.
all over weed. I was in trouble for a while.
All right. You don't have to expand on it if you don't want
Look
to.
how he threw it. He's like, I'm better. Stop talking to me. Go talk to him. I'm better on that side.
I made my own version of prison pizza.
Yeah.
It didn't taste good either there.
No, there's no way you can make it taste good. I'm sure the only thing to make prison food a little bit tolerable is like mixing together different flavors of ramen packets or something. Like that's about it.
Dude, the fucking what? Ugh, God, I'm
Yeah.
trying to even.
Dude, can you imagine?
I don't want to.
Can you imagine ramen, like packaged ramen, shitty brick ramen being a treat? Because that's what it is when you're in prison. Like
yeah,
it's a treat.
The only person that I can kind of tap with that is my buddy. Whenever we would get fucking hammered, and it was at a really nice house. Parents had a nice house. Every time he'd get drunk, he would break out like 5 or 6 of them packets, not boil it, and just. And
Oh,
just eat
people
them-
that eat them
You just eat them
uncooked.
bitches uncooked. They were like a
Ugh.
cookie, and he would, and like every time he bit, he's drunk. It just crash and break everywhere, but he would fucking mow it down. I'm like, this guy deserves to be in a straight jacket.
Yeah, I've seen people do that. That is
Crazy.
disgusting, dude.
Crazy people.
And then like if he was feeling fancy, he would take the powder packet and put it on top.
Oh,
It was just
that's even worse.
Dude, well, I didn't fuck with this guy for a reason because I'm like, this guy enjoys this. There's a lot of other things that doesn't mind. He won't mind that much. Breaking my face in is probably one of them.
That's so bad.
Oh, you can't fucking have that. God bless you, Cody Ray, for that. That was funny as shit. So we had an idea originally. So we're trying to do this game setup where every single guest comes in. We're just trying to have a fun game, and I threw out a fun game that I thought would be just the
I'll
greatest.
still
time.
do it. I don't give a shit.
Well, I ain't playing it any farther after you told me you've already done it. I threw it at you, and he's like, funny enough, I did this on a podcast 2 years ago, and I was like, man, here I am with the fucking thought that I actually did something cool. I was like, oh, yeah, you don't. Both of our last names are Brown, so I wanted to do something fun on the last name Brown. I found out also today that is the 4th most common name.
Yeah.
Could be a fucking lie, but I saw that.
I think it's moved down because it used to be second, I think. I think it was like Brown. I think Smith was always like
That's a very standard one.
number
yeah.
one.
You'll have that.
Yeah, but John Brown is probably the most common name
Yeah.
in the United
yeah.
States anyways.
I'm so glad that we follow each other because if I wanted to look up John Brown, mutuals might find it, but I'm sure there's a billion of it. And it's fucked up. Travis Brown? Can't even find myself on anywhere because Travis Brown, the UFC fighter, and he spells
Yeah.
it with a fucking E at the end of it.
There was a
weird.
Travis Brown that entered the comedy contest too.
That is true.
Oh yeah.
I was
Yeah.
very confused by that because I saw my name on there, and when I was heading up there that night, and I was like, wait a minute, Bill. We didn't talk about this. I'm not.
You
I'm
thought
not
he put you on
I'm
the
not
list?
fucking cut out for this yet. I haven't even thought about doing this shit yet.
Yeah, I was actually I was talking to his brother today. His brother's Trent Brown.
Damn it, dude. If he fucking said Trevor Brown, I would have laughed so hard. Because that's my brother's name.
Oh, that's crazy.
That would
Did he
have
have
been good.
did he have the same mom's name too? Same dad's name?
I'm going to have to fucking
That'd
have a
be
conversation with my
hilarious.
parents. I'm going to tell you that much. If there's just a duplicate of that, like, did you fucking try a second family with the same names, you cocksucker?
Yeah. No, my dad's name's John Brown as well. I'm not a junior though. That was very important to my mom. I don't know why. We have different middle names, so.
How is that a thing? I thought that was mandated. Like, you had to be a junior. If your name was
I think
the
it has
same.
to be the exact same name for you to be considered a junior. That's at least
Middle
what,
names, too?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure there's people that don't go by that.
So,
But-
what did you and your dad, for the differential, was there a nickname that you went by or whatever?
No.
Or do you guys both just turn your heads at John?
Yeah.
Yeah. Never thought of a nickname for
It's kind of funny because we worked at the same place for a long time, and people would call him JB, and they would call me JB Jr. And then when he retired, they just started calling me JB, which is it's kind of weird, right?
You just picked up your
Yeah.
dude, picking up your father's honor, dude. You moved up. Like, I am fucking JB.
Which like JB has always been like something people have called me.
Yeah.
It's always been JB. Did anybody ever call you Brownie?
Yeah. Mine was brown shit.
Brown shit?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, mine was brown shit. My fucking PlayStation gamer tag was brown shit 4444. Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I know whenever I was when I was in high school playing football, we had this one time where I was being kind of annoying because it was like the last practice of the season, and I was just going like full out and just fucking Rudy style, you know. And I didn't know this at the time, but the coach had called a play in the huddle, and the name of the play was Tackle Brownie in the Mud on 2.
So funny.
And basically, like, I was playing defensive tackle, and I come out of my stance, and the whole offensive line splits. And I'm just standing there, and the fullback, who was, like, ended up being, like, all-state in high school, just, like, this was freshman year, though, but he just comes straight through the hole and just fucking nails me.
Cracks your ass.
Just lays me down on the back, on my back in the mud, and I couldn't breathe for, like, fucking 5 minutes probably. Like, it was just so...
Honestly, as much as you say that, to have a play named after you to calm you down, you go up and you go, damn, you guys had to chill me out with a full play. I'm that much of a dog, dude. You had to call a play after me to send a fucking hail thrower, the fucking bale thrower.
I wish I was funny
From
enough
Country
back
Boys?
then to think of that angle on it.
No,
But
you're
I was not.
just barely breathing. Like, you guys are fucked up, dude. God damn it.
Yeah, dude.
So when did you start comedy? You started comedy.
July 3rd, 2019.
God damn, you know the day and all.
Oh yeah, dude. I think everybody does, but it was crazy because my first night was a sold out night at the Funny Stop, and because it was July 3rd, back then the Funny Stop amateur night was pretty packed all the time, and because it was July 3rd, nobody had to work the next day. He figured he would have 2 amateur contests, so he had the amateur contest early, and then he had like a money contest late.
Okay.
Well, by the time I called, the lady that answers the phone was like, well, the amateur contest is full, but I can put you on the paid contest at the late show. And I was like, okay, I guess. I didn't know any better.
You had no
you
idea.
know?
Yeah, okay.
And so I'm sitting there waiting to go up. I was supposed to be third, and the guy hosting, like, starts his introduction, and he's like, this guy's been doing comedy all over Akron and Cleveland for 6 years. And I'm like, well, that's not me, you know. And then and he announced Steve Murs, and Steve Murs went up and just annihilated. I think he won the contest that night.
Hell yeah.
And then I had to follow him for my first time doing comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it went okay. Like I remember I had the sense to, like, I think because I listened to so many comedy podcasts and shit before that, I kind of knew the ropes a little bit. So I had the sense to, like, reset the room. So I walked up and grabbed the mic, and I was like, well, don't expect that. And,
That's
like, that got a
great,
big
yep.
laugh. And I did pretty well. and I just remember coming off stage. My buddy Brian that talked me into it. He's the guy that does all my artwork for me now, but he talked me into doing comedy for the first time. And I remember coming off stage and him being like, "What did you think?" And I was just like, "I think I want to do this for the rest of my life." And like that was it. And it was I was addicted from like jump. Like it was
That's fucking
the most adrenaline that I had ever felt in my life was the first time doing comedy.
Yeah, I've done. I was a part of 2 death metal bands in my time, and did a lot of shows. Did a little bit of moving, but we didn't really do anything crazy. And I caught some like weird feelings to it to an extent.
Yeah.
And then I did stand up for the first time on stage. I'm like, yeah, I've been on stage before. I've done like vocals for a band to fill in, whatever. I've been to centers. I fucking did that stand up at Moonshine when we were doing the comedy, and I was so unbelievably stressed out.
Yeah.
I was so anxious. I was like, I don't know how fucking people do this all the time. Like, I have none of my hats off to people that you can just write and just go up there all the time and not give a shit what people think about it. Because that's fucking, I mean, granted, we kind of maybe do it here, but not in front of a bunch of people. It's just 3 dudes in a basement. But
Yeah.
having everybody staring at you, there was 2 sold out shows for my first show. First show I crushed. First show, everybody lost their shit. The second show, all my homies from high school were there. And not a single fucking laugh came from that crowd.
Oh man,
and
that's rough,
dude. My homies are right in the front table, and I'm saying stories that they know, but I'm making them funny, and they just looked at me like, "Oh, that was the joke," and I was like, I did a callback. My first set, my first fucking 5-10 minutes. I don't know how long we were doing. I did a callback. I was like, I'm gonna test myself. I'm gonna try and get the laugh at first, to then go all the way back with it. And I didn't get. We were talking to a comedian that was on the pod, and I was telling her, and she's like, "Hey, that's great, but just know that if you don't get a laugh on that first one, you're not gonna get a laugh on the second."
Yep. Yeah.
First show got the laugh, and I'm like, and it was stuck in my head, and I was like, "Fucking thank God." Second show, I didn't get that laugh. Sweat down my ass immediately, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know how to fucking pivot from here. I can't just dance away from this. I have one strict structure."
Yeah.
And then I said it, and then I was like, "All right, you guys ready for some real comedy?" And then they laughed and started clapping, and I was like, "Fuck off, don't clap. Don't clap and laugh and all that shit now." What is, since your podcast is titled related to the bomb,
Yeah.
what's your favorite story that you have of you bombing?
Oh man, this was it was like probably a year and a half in. I was running a show that I passed on to Brandon Petrie at a place called Grindstone Tap House, and this lady started coming up to do comedy, and then she started her own show at this place called Front Street Social in Berea, and she got me to like headline the first one. It was my first time. It wasn't really headlining. It was more like a feature. I made her take headlining off of the flyer because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want people to think I'm like trying to say that I'm headlining,
Right,
you know?
right.
And so it was like my first time doing 25 minutes. And I had this joke that I was doing about Papa John like training to not say the N-word. And it was crushing everywhere. And I did it here, and it was like probably 10 minutes into my set. It was going really well, and I did this Papa John's joke, and it bombed. And I said, it was like a crowd full of white people, and there were 2 black people, and they were the only 2 that laughed. And easy, I would have done this because I know better. Easy way out of that is just say the 2 black people laughed. That means you're allowed to laugh, you know? Instead, I was like, oh, there must be some fans of the N-word in here. And then I turned around, and I went to get a drink of my water, and I turned back around, and I just saw the crowd just pissed. Like, you just called us all racist. Like, what?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And it was silence for the rest of the 15 minutes. Yeah.
Fuck.
Silence, dude. It was so bad. And then the lady never talked to me after the show that booked me. And I don't think I've done a single one of her shows since.
Oof.
And
Oof.
yeah, and we've never talked about it. It was awful. Like, I never want to go back to that feeling. And the only other one I could think of was my first time doing Jokes on You at Hilarities.
Okay.
Was I Jokes on You is an all crowd work show. I crushed at Funny Stop one night doing a guest set for Squire,
Oh.
and Squire was doing Jokes on You with John Bruton at the time, and instead of Jimmy.
Okay.
And so Squire asked me if I wanted to do it the next day, and I was like, yeah, sure. And then I got home and I was like, I've never fucking done crowd work before. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Oh, no.
And so I watched like a ton of videos of people doing crowd work, like just to
fucking
try
Matt
to
Rife, Matt Rife.
just like trying to get a gauge out like what I was gonna do. I noticed when watching the Jokes on You videos that Bruton and Squire would make fun of people's shoes. So I went out and bought a pair of Air Maxes to wear to the show that night.
Fuck yeah.
And it turned me into a sneakerhead, which kind of sucks because I've spent a lot of money on it. But
hats off to you.
yeah, but Squire hit me up right before the show and was like, hey, I can't be there tonight, but John's there. Tell him to put you on or whatever. And I was like, okay. So I get there, and John was like, well, Bill didn't tell me anything, but he's like, if we have extra room, I'll throw you up. And then he had somebody not show up. So he's like, do you want to go up? And I was like, yeah, sure. And first time at Hilarities, I was like shaking. And I don't get nervous before I go up. I was like shaking. I was so nervous. And I had this little bit that I was going to do when I walked up and about me being nervous. And I was going to be like, I'm just really nervous right now. And then I asked this lady in the front row, I was like, are you nervous? And she's like, no. And I was like, what's something that makes you nervous? And she said, my job. And I was like, well, what's your job? And she's like, I'm a 911 operator. And I don't know why I asked this question, but I was like, what's the worst phone call you've ever gotten? And she almost whispers to me, like, I had someone commit suicide on the phone. And, like, in my head, I was just like, I can't do a fucking suicide joke my first time at Hilarities. And I swear to God, it just, like, I blacked out. I felt like I was drowning. And the next thing I knew, like, Jimmy was subbing for Squire. So Jimmy was walking back up on the stage, and I was like, I remember saying, oh, Jimmy's coming back, so I must not be doing very well or something like that. And like that got a laugh, but it was so bad. And then everybody was like, it wasn't that bad. I was like, it was fucking bad. I know it was bad. I was blacked out, but I'm pretty sure it was awful. Like it was so bad. But that's when you learn lessons. Like that's because I told Joe Briggs about it like the next day or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I thought like I can't do a suicide joke my first time at Hilarities. And Joe was like, yeah, you should have just said that. And he's like, you just say what pops into your head. Like that was like a fucking light bulb going off. Like because I didn't understand how people did crowd work.
You've had two moments that you could have easily gotten out of with the first thought in your head. And
Yeah.
you popped with the worst thought in your head.
But once you get crowd work down, it's the easiest part of comedy. You know what I mean? Like it is because it's just this.
Yeah.
You know, like you're just talking back and forth. Only you're trying to find punchlines. Like, but other than that, it's just talking to somebody.
I'm screwed.
I
I wouldn't do good. I did stand up once for one of our shows. I was up there for like 6 minutes. I forgot half of one of the jokes, and then I just like abruptly stopped. I'm like, all right, what do I do now?
Dude went a million miles per hour.
I didn't look at the crowd once. I paced back and forth on the stage. I was just like,
Dude, so we had
all right.
We had Noah and John coming for his show. And Noah and John caught traffic, so they were like 2 minutes late, like from the start of the show. We had to get the show running. Cody Ray's up there. I was like, Cody Ray, riff it. They're gonna be here in a second. I was like, you start it up. I'll send them back and shit, yada yada. Got them back and everything. And when they got back, I was like, glad you guys can make it. X, Y, and Z. You guys need anything? And he kind of told me some of his jokes and like the way he was doing them. I heard his last joke, and it was literally fucking like 3 minutes in, and I was like, how the fuck is he here already? I was like, how the fuck did he get here already? Oh my God. And I looked at my watch, and like they just walked in, and I'm like, oh, and I hear him, he's up front, and he's like, yes, I don't really know where to go from here, but and I was like, oh fuck, we've got to abort. And I'm like, I'm looking over at Nick, and Nick's just patiently, he's so nice. He's sticking to code, sticking to time, and he's like, I'm not giving you the light right now. You'll find your way out. You'll find your way out. I was like, I had to open up the curtain a little bit and look out at him, like, give a little funny ha-ha to everybody out there. Just be like, Cody, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Just to pass it. I was like, Cody Ray came back, and I felt so bad for Cody Ray, but Cody Ray sat in the back room for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just sitting there looking at the ground like, God damn it, dude.
Dude, it's the worst. It is the worst feeling in the world. Like, I still have it to this day. Like, you never have a time where you don't bomb. Like, if somebody says they don't, they're lying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right.
You're always gonna have that where you just like go to an open mic to try something new, and it's just like the people there don't know you, so they're not like vibing with you and shit. You know, like it's weird because especially open mics is the only place I think it really happens to me now, is because it's like it's so. Whenever you go to an open mic and it's a bunch of comics that don't know you, like they're already less likely to laugh because they're comedians and they hear comedy all day, every day.
Yeah, they're like in a sense stiflers to it. You really make me laugh.
Yeah,
we've never been to open mic. We've never done comedy at all. But that's why, like, when Bill asked us, like, hey, I want you guys to help judge this thing. We can do a little collaboration and such. And I was like, let me get this straight. You want us to be a critic to 50 comedians that come through in Cleveland that have been working on this for years. You want us to go up there and say, like, hey, why don't you say something to them about how they did? I was like, I like the way you did that sentence there. I like the way you
I like the way you talk.
I think I remember the best judges for any kind of comedy contest are just like, you just go off of the crowd noise. You know what I mean? Like, you just go off of the laughter. Like, that's and I've been in a lot of contests where that's not the case. You know what I mean? Like, it's disappointing, but it's like whenever I judge amateur night a lot at the Funny Stop, and I'm just giving it to the people who got the most laughter, even if I don't like their jokes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's the point.
They got the
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
we kind of, I feel like we did that to an extent, but we also didn't know. We were so new to all of it. And like getting into Cleveland, it was an awesome opportunity to learn a lot and like see how to structure, like how everybody goes through to structure a joke, seeing that like the winners of it go through and then they create new stuff in like a week. And you're like, how the fuck, how do you guys do this so fucking fast, bro? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
We're out of the group. We're 1 for 4 on bombing. Like, Nick also bombed.
Okay.
But Nick said a joke that I don't know if he wrote, but like he just wanted to say the joke, or he told his buddy the end of the joke or whatever it was, and he was in the middle of setting up the joke, and his buddy fucking yelled from the crowd the finish of the joke.
Oh my God.
And Nick was like, hey, asshole, that was the end of the joke.
And then he didn't know what to do from there. He was stumped.
He ended up, we had a seat. We didn't have a stool. We had a fucking seat. And he sat on the seat, and he's just sitting there with the mic looking at everybody. He's like, hey, I'm a little drunk, a little high, a little cute. I'm like, oh, we've got to save him. We've got to save him. It's my favorite thing to say to my buddy because he was there too, and he was like, what's Nick doing? And I was like, I don't fucking know, dude. Well, we want to get back up. I know that's like there was a time that I want to hit an open mic. We wanted to start doing open mic stuff here and like creating a scene and doing that because there's nothing around here. But it'd be fucking awesome to do that because comedy is so sick. And I fucking can't wait to go up and bomb again, honestly.
Yeah, dude, there's small towns that have scenes, you know? Like it's like there's a place in West Virginia called Beckley, West Virginia, and it's like a satellite campus of West Virginia University, but it's like a very small town.
Uh-huh.
And I went there and did a show with Tim one time, and there was like 3 audience members. All right, 2 of them were this old couple, and there's like 4 comics, but 2 of them were this old couple, and the host started doing crowd work to this old couple, and found out they were coming from Canada or whatever, and just passing through, and decided to get something to eat. So they didn't know there's a fucking comedy show.
Yeah.
And this dude immediately just starts doing like the dirtiest fucking jokes. And these old people get up and they go to leave. They get their check, and they're paying their check, and then the lady's like, while the comedy show's happening in the same room, you can hear this lady say, "What is this $20 charge on our bill?" And the bartender's like, "Oh, that's for the comedy show." And she was like, "Well, we didn't know there was a comedy show. Can we, like, get our money back for that?" We're just like, it's very audible. Like, you can hear this lady trying to get a refund for the show that's currently going on. It was the most awkward.
That's fucking rough.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But I've heard they've had good shows there. And it's like they have a little scene with like 6 comics or whatever.
Fuck yeah.
And they bring in comics from all over the country, and they try to sell tickets. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like,
it's the hardest thing. It's
yeah,
the hardest
it
thing
is.
in the world. And like hearing stories of New York, like they would go out and like I don't know if this is like Cleveland and every other comedy scene, but like they would go out on the sidewalk and they would just try and pitch a sale to get people to come into the doors and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really do that in Cleveland because there's no real like walkable area. You could do that at Hilarities, but they don't need to. You know what I mean? Like
Hilarities is fucking Hilarities.
Yeah, but like
Took us like 20 minutes to find it the first time we ever fucking went there. We had a homeless man point us down the way, and then we walked into a kitchen. We were like, "What the fuck? Where are we at?" We totally missed Joe Briggs. We were going there to see Joe Briggs because he just got on the pod and fucking totally missed him. We went the dude that does Saturday Night Live, shorter dude that did Domingo or whatever the fuck. What's his name? Comedian.
Marcelo.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was there. Had no idea. Didn't know
Yeah.
anything of it. And then there was some other New York dude or some older guy that we've our ignorance will show. But literally it was the hardest time in the world to go to that place. But
Yeah, Marcelo moved right before I started comedy. He moved to New York.
from here?
Yeah, he started doing comedy in Cleveland because he went to one of the colleges in Cleveland. I can't remember which one.
No shit.
Yeah, and then he moved to New York right before I started. I met him when Brian Kenny was featuring one time, and I went up to hang out with Brian Kenny, and Marcelo dropped in to do a guest set, and I met him, talked to him for a minute, and he was like trying to tell me and Brian Kenny some like tips on social media shit and whatever. And then like a month later, they put out JFL New Faces, and Marcelo got New Faces, and was like, "That's if you're a comedian, you know, that's like before the pandemic, like that was like the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
Getting New Faces was like you made it basically."
That's fucking
And
sweet.
like
Can you tell me what New Faces is?
it's so Montreal Just for Laughs, the Just for Laughs festival.
Okay.
New Faces of Comedy. They have 2 showcases. They have a rep showcase and an unrep showcase.
Okay.
So the unrepped showcase is the one where they're basically picking who they think are the best like 8 comedians in the country that don't have representation, and they're putting them in front of the entire industry.
God bless.
Basically
Okay.
for a showcase.
And
You would get that, you would do that, and then you would go afterwards to like, I don't know, like an after party kind of thing where there's just all kinds of agents and TV execs and everything. And that's how it used to be. It's not so much that anymore, but you still can like get signed from it.
like a
and
badge
whatnot.
of honor now kind of deal. Like
Yeah.
it's a nice bump up kind of deal.
Yeah,
Nice.
but like back like before the pandemic, it was like you would get New Faces, you would do your showcase, you'd go to their little after party thing, and it would be like the execs from NBC, ABC, like
God.
HBO, like and like a lot of times people would pitch to them right there. You know what I mean? Like if they had like a sitcom or something they wanted to write or something, they would pitch right there because they want to see if you have ideas more than stand up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people would get signed by agents right away, and then you're off, dude. Like that's your career. And it's not
Shot out. Hell yeah.
It's not as crazy anymore. But Marcelo, I think, was 2023 that he got it, maybe 2022. But he got New Faces, and then it was like probably a month or 2 later they announced he was the new cast member on Saturday Night Live. So it was pretty
fast.
It was like a pretty
Yeah,
fast,
yeah.
like blow up.
Well,
It was
fucking
crazy.
shout out, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good on him. This little fucker's funny. I like him.
Yeah, he's great.
Before we wrap off, because I know that we wanted to do the game, like I said, and you stumped me. I wanted to ask one of the older questions that we usually ask comedians, and feel free to say no if you don't want to. But if you have a favorite joke, skit, whatever the case is, run it before we head on out so that they can display who John Brown is.
One of my jokes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just...
Or you can tell me, fuck off, you worked on it pretty hard and you don't want to give it out to the world right
No,
now.
I'll do one that I've already posted, but I'll do the bread joke. It's so this is a true story. Whenever I was a kid growing up in Texas, it was the 90s, so we like didn't have like tablets and shit, so we had to kind of like find our own shit to do. And there was one time where there was like 4 of us playing at my house, and my parents weren't home, and my buddy Josh was like, I have something we can do. I saw my mom doing this new way of baking bread, and we were like, well, that sounds dumb, but we have nothing else to do. Let's try it. What do we need? And he was like, some flour and a spoon. So I grabbed some flour and I grabbed a spoon, and we went down on the street corner we always played on, and when we got down on the street corner, he bent the spoon. And I was like, why'd you bend the spoon? He's like, that's how my mom did it. And yeah, we didn't realize at the time, but it was, somebody called the cops because they thought a bunch of 8-year-olds were doing heroin.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah. So a cop rolls up and he's like, what are you boys doing? And we're like, we're baking bread. And he's like, where'd you learn how to bake bread like that? My buddy Josh said, I saw my mom doing it. And then he was like, son, I'm going to give you a ride home. And then we never saw Josh again. Now that joke is like one of my favorites to tell because it's a true story and it's fucking ridiculous.
That's insane.
But my favorite part of the story is something I don't tell on stage because it's just like it doesn't fit. But the cops, after they dropped Josh off, came around to all of our houses and individually, and I didn't tell my dad what happened or anything. And so my older brothers are 7 and 9 years older than me. So a cop knocks on our door. My dad opens the door, and he looks back at my brothers, Jamie and Chris, and he's like, "The fuck did you guys do?" Like that kind of thing.
Right.
And the cop was like, "Actually, we're here to talk to you about Johnny." And I was 8. And my dad was like, "The fuck?" So he's like, "You might want to step outside for this." And I could hear the cop telling my dad like what we were doing.
What you were doing on the corner.
And then I heard my dad laugh out loud. And then he had to come back inside and try to be like stern and like tell me that it was wrong and shit, and I still didn't know for probably 2 years after that
what that actually was.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Because Josh never told us,
What was the moment?
It had to have been
"Holy
something.
shit."
It had to have been a movie like Train Spotting or something like that I saw that I was
that
like,
shit looks
oh
awfully
shit,
familiar.
yeah. So
They're breaking bread too. They're baking bread.
yeah, and then we figured out that Josh's mom was probably a heroin addict at the time. So yeah,
I love that. That's great.
Texas.
God damn.
My favorite part of that was whenever I posted it for the first time.
Yeah.
There was a girl that I didn't know who it was. It was some like bookstore account on TikTok. Commented, this had to have been in Denison, and I was like, it absolutely was. It's like, who the fuck is this? And I put in the subtitle of the joke, like, change the name or whatever. And then she texted me, DM'd me, and was like, I'm going to also guess that you didn't change the name. And I was like, you are correct. Like, that's
so funny.
Yeah. I just figured if I told people I changed the name, it
Right.
would throw them off enough,
So good. I love that. Well, I appreciate you sharing that one,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
That was good.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Round of applause for John Brown being on the
Thank
Boogered
you.
Up podcast, man. Why don't you go ahead and share all the socials and everything where people can find you?
I'm at John Brown Comedy on everything. I don't have Twitter because fuck Elon Musk, but I do have Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and that stupid one that's supposed to be new Twitter, but it sucks really bad. And then YouTube, I'm at John Brown Comedy as well. And then our podcast is at Bombhard Productions on YouTube. So,
Hell yeah. Do you have any shows?
yeah.
This episode comes up. It's upcoming Monday. So
Upcoming Monday.
Yeah.
So that
any
week.
shows you want to plug?
Yeah, I'll be the 13th. I'll be at E.J. Thomas Hall opening up for DC Curry. The 14th, I'm doing Don't Tell Cleveland. Go to Don't Tell Cleveland's Instagram page for that. And the 15th, I'm opening up for John Reap at E.J. Thomas Hall. And then the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, I'm working with one of my favorite comics from New York, Nick Griffin.
Fuck yeah.
Actually, the 21st and 22nd is at the Funny Farm in Niles. And then the 23rd is at Hilarities, downtown Cleveland. And then the 22nd, I'm also doing the Secret Society show. So
we got to go to a fucking Secret
I know.
Society
We almost
show.
went to one last time we were in town, but we had to get back because they start real late.
Dude.
Is our problem. And we live so far away.
The funniest part of that whole thing, what did we do? That, like, it was it Hoss wanted to go or something?
No, I wanted to go to the show.
Hoss
but
said no.
I was the sober one. They were drinking. It was after the Bill Squire Christmas Kwanzaa thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I went to that. You went to Old 86 afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we stopped there for a second.
And then somebody was going to the Secret Society after that, and we're like, oh, dude, I really want to go, but he was talking to people, and the other two were macking on chicks, and I was like having a hell of a time getting them wrangled up, and I spent like 45 minutes just getting them outside, and then somebody forgot their phone once we got to the car. It was a wreck, dude. We didn't even leave town probably till the show was over anyways. So
by the time we got out of the bar, actually in the car, started to drive, we were like, man, we could have easily have been to the show and enjoyed a comedy show tonight.
They're always
after the comedy show.
Yeah, they're always good. They're always fun.
We're gonna hit one up as soon as we fucking can. I promise.
When are you gonna be on it?
The 22nd. Yeah, so 2 Saturdays or no.
I want to start coming to Cleveland.
Yeah, 2 Saturdays.
I want to start coming to Cleveland more, but it's like what, hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Hour, yeah,
hour away.
I'm actually like closer to Akron, so it was like an hour and a half for me from here, but it's Cleveland's just as far though. That's like, where are we here?
BFE?
Is this like, is this like Lake County or is it like
Sandusky County?
Okay, is that like close to? Because I feel like Lake County is like we had a show in Madison, and Lake County is where like it's an hour from Akron or an hour from Cleveland. So it's kind of inconvenient for everybody. Like Madison, Menor, like that kind of shit.
They're making up shit now at this point. We've gotten far in this pod where you're just making up locations.
But anyway, I'm trying to build up my Instagram. So like that's the one that like if people want to follow me.
Yes.
At John Brown Comedy on Instagram.
He's great. He's been I talked to him at the show. He's trying to post once a day.
Yeah.
So,
Lake County's on the other side of Cleveland. Like it's not close to us.
All right.
God bless.
Damn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't do anything we wouldn't do, and make sure you guys are subscribing, liking, and everything. Every share, every like, every comment means the world to us, and we're gonna keep trying to have guests every single week for you guys, so you guys can get to meet all these wonderful people and enjoy a fun time and enjoy the necklace once again. Shout out. I love you. I hope you know that I love you for making that, and I know you're listening and watching. And the guy that make that he does a full Darth Maul Bengals thing. Sweet. It's so fucking sick, dude. But yeah, love you guys. Don't do anything that we wouldn't do. Peace.
Shut up.